Before we start, take a moment to like and subscribe. The year is 1530. A golden-haired boy, the heir to the Russian throne, is born to a nation hungry for a new era. His name is Ivan, and his future seems destined for glory, a shining hope for a fragmented state. But beneath the gilded surface of the Kremlin, a vicious game of power is being played. This is a ruthless and bloody struggle for control over the young prince. At just 3 years old, his father, Grand Prince Vasily III, dies, and the boy is left in the hands of scheming boyars Russian nobles, who see him not as their future czar, but as a pawn to be manipulated. The powerful Shuisky and Belsky families clash in a bloody power vacuum. They openly bicker, fight, and even murder each other's supporters in the palace halls, all in plain view of the young prince. He is neglected and often left to fend for himself in the sprawling palace. He is left to starve, go without new clothes, and feel utterly powerless, a constant witness to violence he cannot control. The Bojars would deliberately taunt him, refusing to acknowledge him as their future sovereign. This childhood of fear and neglect would forge a profound darkness within him. A deep-seated paranoia and burning resentment would one day consume an empire. This was the brutal and chaotic origin of a czar, who would earn the name of Terrible by the time he turned 17. Ivan is ready to reclaim his destiny. In a stunning and unprecedented ceremony, he crowns himself the first Tsar of all Russia. This title proclaims his absolute, divine right to rule, casting aside the old title of Grand Prince. This was a profoundly symbolic act. It not only asserted his authority over the boyars, but also positioned Russia as the rightful successor to the Byzantine Empire, the Third Rome. The Tsar's power was now derived directly from God, not from man. The first part of his reign, despite the tumultuous start, is a golden age. This period is filled with remarkable progress and expansion. He establishes a new, comprehensive law code known as the Sudebnik of 1550. It aims to reform the justice system, curb corruption, and standardize legal proceedings across the vast realm. He modernizes the army, creating a professional fighting force known as the Streltsy Musketeers. They serve as his loyal guard and as an instrument of his military ambition, equipped with new technology and disciplined training. His campaigns are incredibly successful, most notably the conquest of the mighty Khanate of Kazan in 1552. This is a strategic victory that secures control of the vital Volga River trade routes and a monumental triumph over the last remnants of the Golden Horde. This victory is so significant that he commissions the construction of the iconic St. Basil's Cathedral to commemorate it. He also pushes Russia's borders eastward, laying the foundation for an expansive empire that would stretch to Siberia. He also convenes the Zemsky Sobor, a kind of national assembly with representatives from various social classes. This shows his early willingness to consult with different social classes and build a broader base of support. His marriage to the beautiful and gentle Anastasia Romanovna brings him a rare sense of peace and stability. Her calming influence seems to keep his dark impulses at bay. Their bond is one of genuine affection, and her presence is a constant, moral anchor in his life. But this golden age was built on a dangerously fragile foundation, a delicate facade that hinged entirely on one woman's gentle presence. When Anastasia dies mysteriously in 1560, the foundation crumbles. Convinced she was poisoned by the Bojars, his dormant paranoia erupts into a violent fury. The neglected boy transforms into a man consumed by a thirst for vengeance. The light that had guided him for years is gone, and in its place, the shadows of his childhood return to consume him. This is where the story takes its darkest, most terrifying turn. In a calculated and deeply manipulative move, Ivan withdraws from the capital to a secluded fortress at Alexandrov Sloboda. He threatens to abdicate, leaving Moscow without a ruler. The move was a brilliant piece of psychological warfare, forcing a fearful population to choose between chaos and the man they had come to fear. The terrified public, believing their nation is falling into chaos, sends desperate delegations to beg him to return on his own terms. His demand is simple and absolute. He wants a terrifying blank check to punish anyone he deems a traitor without trial or accountability. With this terrifying mandate, he creates the Oprichnina. This is a chilling, new political force that splits Russia into the Zemshchina or the Common Land, and the Oprichnina his personal domain. This was not merely a military force, but a parallel government. It had its own bureaucracy, laws, and exclusive territories, including the wealthiest streets of Moscow. His new army of fanatical, black-clad men, known as the Oprichniki, becomes a harbinger of terror. Their horses and garb are a frightening inversion of the monastic robes they often wore in the Tsar's twisted court. They carry brooms and severed dogs' heads to symbolize their grim mission to sweep out the traitors and devour the Tsar's enemies. Ivan's reign becomes a brutal plot of suspicion and betrayal as he pits his private army against the rest of the country. The Oprichniki are unleashed on the country. Their purges are indiscriminate and savage. Whole towns are massacred, most famously the city of Novgorod. Thousands are tortured and killed there over a period of 5 weeks in a brutal pogrom. The city's inhabitants were rounded up and herded like animals into the freezing Volkhov River, held under the ice with long poles, or dragged to the public squares to be brutally executed. This was no simple punishment. It was a ritual of terror, a theatrical display designed to crush all dissent and leave a permanent scar on the Russian psyche. The terror extended far beyond the nobility. The purges created an atmosphere of constant fear, as no one could be sure they were safe from the Tsar's spies or his black-clad guards. Countless others are arrested on Ivan's whim. Their families are tortured to extract confessions and their property seized, leaving them destitute and terrified. The terror extends beyond the boyars to merchants, clerks, and even common peasants who cross the Tsar's path. The nobles, who once schemed against him, are now hunted relentlessly. Their lands are confiscated and their lives forfeit, often given to Ivan's loyalists in a calculated move to break the old aristocratic order. It creates a new class loyal only to him. This reign of terror, a brutal plot twist in the story of a golden age that was never meant to last, ultimately broke the power of the Bojars and centralized all authority in the hands of the Tsar. The final act of Ivan's story is one of escalating madness and violence, leading to a climax of profound tragedy. In a fit of rage, he strikes and kills his own son and heir, Ivan Ivanovich, during a heated argument. While the immediate cause of the quarrel is debated by historians, some say it was over the way his son's pregnant wife was dressed. Others point to a dispute over military policy. All accounts tell of a fatal blow to the head with his iron-tipped staff, a moment of unbridled fury that he instantly regretted. This single act is the ultimate tragedy, a shocking and devastating climax that seals his legacy and leaves him heartbroken. The iconic image, immortalized in Ilya Repin's famous painting of a man weeping over his dying son, is one of the most enduring images of his reign. It is a poignant and terrifying portrait of the moment his violence consumed the one person he truly loved. He is left utterly alone, a man who has systematically destroyed his family and his country's nobility in his quest for absolute power. He is consumed by a crushing grief and guilt in his final years, often spending long nights in the church, praying for his victims. His paranoid reign had already left the country in ruins, with a shattered economy and a population terrified into silence. The Livonian War, a long and costly military campaign, drained the treasury and led to widespread famine. The Oprichnina's destruction of noble estates also shattered the country's agricultural backbone, exacerbating the suffering of the peasants. But this final, self-inflicted act of destruction leaves Russia without a clear heir. It sets the stage for the tumultuous and chaotic time of troubles that would follow his death. This is a period of famine, civil war, and foreign invasion that nearly destroys the country. The once promising Tsar, who had started his reign as a golden child, is now a broken, isolated shell of a man. His reign is a chilling and timeless cautionary tale about the devastating consequences of unchecked power and the inner demons of a truly terrible ruler. It stands as a dark testament to how a nation's fate can be twisted by one man's personal tragedies and a thirst for absolute control.